Hi everybody, welcome back. So, Merry Christmas, 4 more weeks till Christmas. Are you excited?
Of course I am. It's Christmas.
Okay, so we are going to be recapping on what we have down here. We have how it all began, the story of Adam and Eve. How God starts over, story of Noah. We have God's pretty crazy promise. The tears in the desert, the story of Hagar. Then we have God, the people who God picks, even though we don't know who it is. Then we have the dreamer who saves the world, free at last, the story of Moses. A new home for God's people, the story of Joshua. A very strong, very tall, and very brave king, which disobeyed God, and here is King David. And then we have God's golden house. We have fire on the mountain. Then we have God's forever plan, into the lion's den, story of Daniel. From the fishing boat to a fish's belly, from the story of Jonah. Then we have God's people head home, the story of Zerubbabel. Still can't pronounce that. God is coming to earth to stay, the story of Elizabeth and Zechariah. Then we have God, the world's longest quiet game, which is the story of Elizabeth and Zechariah again. And then we have preparing the way for a king, which is the story of John the Baptist. And yesterday we talked about what two friends saw, the story of Simon and Anna.
And today is the 21st! And it is, is that Mary?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
So we're going to get right to the lesson. Alright, so today's lesson is about God does something new. Do you remember the family from yesterday's story? There were 3 people, a mom, a dad, and a baby. The mommy's name was Mary, and almost a year before she went into the temple, she had a very surprising experience. Mary was in her house minding her own business when suddenly the room filled with dazzling light. Mary strained her eyes to look into the light and could just make out a figure. It looked a bit like a person, but it was far too bright for any person she knew. Then the figure spoke. "Hello, Mary. God is with you." And Mary realized it was far too loud to be any person she knew too. That is when it hit her. This is an angel. Mary had never seen an angel before. She was afraid, but the angel said, "Do not be afraid. God is coming here to stay. Mary, you will be pregnant today." Mary was confused, very confused. It sounded like good news that God was coming to stay, but Mary wasn't even married. How was she supposed to have a baby? The angel explained that God was doing something new. He wasn't just sending a baby. This time, he was sending a baby king. He was sending Emmanuel, God with us. As soon as the angel said this, it reminded her of the promise God had made to the prophet Jeremiah. Does it feel like you're all alone? Does it feel like my plans aren't working anymore? That's not the case. I am still with you, and I still have a plan. Not just today, but a tomorrow plan. In fact, it's a forever plan, and a good one too. It's a plan to make all the wrong and make the right the right. To take all the darkness and make it into light. It's a plan to bring you back to me. Come back to me and I'll come back to you. And when I do, you'll remember what another prophet said, Emmanuel, which is another name that means God with us. Mary's jaw hit the floor. Her child would be the king everyone had been waiting for. Mary was still afraid of the bright, loud angel. She was afraid of having a baby. She was afraid of how many questions she's been thinking about the whole time. But she also believed the angels. She did not know how, and she didn't know why, but she was sure that God promised everything would come true. And because she believed God, God was with her. Even though she was confused, even though she didn't have a husband, Even as she got bigger and bigger and bigger with a pregnant belly, God was with Mary. Emmanuel, Mary whispered to herself, God is with me, and he will be with us forever. So Mary was overwhelmed by this time before the angel left. She sang, for such a long time, God seemed far away, but now she has heard what we had hoped and prayed. God is coming to earth to stay. That was a great lesson, guys. I will see you tomorrow.